the channel, one says it's only cheating if you get caught. The other one lies, cheats, and steals. And Eddie Guerrero, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Epic Toys.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Epic Toys Retro unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got Bobby the Brain Heenan, we got Eddie Guerrero. But for all your Epic Toy needs, I guess Epic Toys, I picked mine up at Figure Collections using discount code Kyle. Save myself 10%. Got to get a deal out there, of course. And of course, we're going to do this unboxing like we do all the other unboxings on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And we're going to start with one of my all-time favorites. I'm a little biased between these two. I love me some Eddie Guerrero, but I really love me some Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think if you talked all personalities, everything in wrestling, he very well could be on my Mount Rushmore. I mean, obviously, Bobby was a wrestler, but known for a manager, known for a commentator, announcer. So many quick one-liners. The Bobby Heenan show is comedy gold. If you go back and watch those, so funny. So many jokes I missed as a little kid that really hit differently all these years later. Absolutely loved the Bobby Heenan show and loved everything of Bobby Heenan from the first time I started watching wrestling until he left wrestling. So I got to give a big shout out to Bobby Heenan, and this is one of two Bobby Heenans from Epic Toys. Hopefully my one in his black outfit should be here in the next couple of days, so I'm very excited to unbox that one on the channel, so you have to stay tuned for that in the future. But we got old Bobby the Brain right here, and it's just wild to me. We never got a Hasbro back in the day. We never got a Mattel Retro. Obviously, his license, I don't know. Is it back with Mattel now? I guess we'll find out sooner than later. But there was a window here where we got some Epic Toys, that's for sure. So we got this. Very excited to pair this one up. We'll do a few comparisons. I mean, there's a million different comparisons with all the people he managed or announced with that we could compare him to. But I got a few of them from different players that we'll do in this very video here. But we do got Epic Toys once again. Very Hasbro style packaging on this, looking very, very nice. You got Bobby there. You got the glamour shot, of course. I love the little action feature. Tradition continues. Bobby Heenan, Epic Toys, Wrestling Megastars. Ages 18 and up, Mark Summers. Oh my gosh. Hide the grandkids. That's what I'm telling you over there from the couch. But looking beautiful right here on the front. And then on the back, look at that. You got the brain pointing to his head. He always did that back in the day. We got Onita and, of course, Boris Zukov on the back. We already unboxed those on the channel, so if you missed it, check out that video. A little bit of a blurb and a little tail of the tape. Let's see what it says about our friend, Bobby Heenan. Height 5'10", weight 242 pounds, from Beverly Hills, California, maybe, or Chicago. You stick with him, he'll take you to the top. The greatest manager in the history of wrestling can now guide your wrestling megastars to championship gold. And man, this would be such a game changer when I was a kid having Bobby Heenan in my collection. Would have absolutely loved it. Of course, I was a kid of the LJN era. I had the LJN Bobby Heenan. Off to the side of Gentle. See you later, goodbye. I had that Bobby Heenan and I absolutely loved it. I still love it to this day. But very fun to get this version of Bobby Heenan in a retro style figure. And gotta say, looking pretty good. Now, not spot on Bobby Heenan. I guess what year we're going for, I'm not exactly sure. Somewhere in that mix of mid to late 80s, I think is what this is representing. But I think if you hand this to anybody looking at the whole package, you know this is Bobby Heenan. But if you had just the head, it does look a lot like Jerry Jarrett. And I don't know how many people are familiar with how Jerry Jarrett looked, but it looks an awful lot like Jerry Jarrett to me. But it is Bobby Heenan. Got those nice pearly white teeth, some of the best dentist work over there in Beverly Hills, as we know. Got the blue eyes going on, the blonde hair with that little wave in the front, looking very, very good for Bobby Heenan right there. Just at the end of the day, I know it's Bobby Heenan. It's close enough to be dangerous, especially with the whole package. I know it's Bobby Heenan. Getting down to the body here, the suit here. He's got the suit jacket over the top. Very flashy, red. You can kind of see like it would have sequins if it was on TV. Looking very good. Got the big bow tie, the black undershirt. Got a little bit of watch action, a little wristband action there. Of course, the nice big rings on Bobby Heenan. He's looking extra good there. A little bit cakey on the hands, I will say. The paint's a little cakey on that one. Looks a little interesting, but it's not the end of the world by any means. Articulation, both arms do go all the way around for us. We do get the head, side to side, back and forth. No up and down on that. Waist articulation, of course, and that's it. No extra articulation. It is your traditional retros here. But I do love that you can have him pointing to the brain. That was one of his signature poses back when, in the day, of course. Very, very nice here. And I can't wait, once again, to get the black suited version. They are a little bit different, and we'll compare them, of course, when that time does come. Black slacks on him down to the black shoes. It's Bobby Heenan all day, and he's even got a fist over here. If things go south and he needs to pop Gene Okerlund in the mouth, guess what? He can do that if he wants to. But looking very good. Nothing on the feet on this one, and he will not fit on a stand either. But it is Bobby Heenan. I am very excited to get Bobby Heenan in my collection here, but I do got some friends to compare him to. I did mention Mean Gene. We got Mean Gene from Mattel, and I believe we got Gorilla coming next year from Mattel, so be nice to pair him up with some fellow announcers if we need to. Looking good here. Obviously, both retro-style figures. Gene a little bit bigger, I guess, in scale-wise from these, but that's the way it goes from time to time as well. How about Mr. Perfect? One of my favorite teams ever was when he managed Mr. Perfect. Loved that era, of course, of the Bobby the Brain Heenan. Looking good there against a Hasbro Mr. Perfect. And then, of course, a lot of people remember him from his time managing Andre the Giant, maybe the Colossal Connection. So many guys that was a part of the Heenan family, but Andre definitely the biggest member of the Heenan family. You can pair these guys up as well if you want to. So a lot of options in the future for this Bobby Heenan. You can put it with a lot of different retro lines. That's the beauty of these retro figures. Similar but different, we'll call them, but you can smoke and mirrors them all together if you want to. So very fun to get a Bobby Heenan retro figure after all these years to finally have one in hand. Very, very cool. And bring on the second one. Definitely a must-have for any retro figure collection. But now we're turning our attention to more of a recent performer than Bobby Heenan, at least. It is one Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie, of course, bouncing around a lot of different toy lines as of late. But we got Eddie in the retro form for the first time ever, which is shocking a little bit to me. But I have to imagine we'll see him maybe in a Mattel retro wave in the future. I guess we'll stay tuned for that. Beautiful picture of Eddie Guerrero right there. Once again, 18 and up. Dangerous for those 17-year-olds. Got the figure going on. The tradition continues once again. You got Eddie Guerrero. Epic Toys Megastars on the back. That cross-sell of all the ones we're unboxing here on the channel. Got a little glamour shot of Eddie giving the frog splash. And then, of course, tail of the tape blurb down there in the file card. Let's see what it says about one Eddie Guerrero. Height 5'8", 220 pounds. El Paso, Texas. Eddie burst onto the scene in the late 80s and lied, cheated, and stole his way to the very top of the wrestling world and our hearts. And our hearts. Eddie could also wrestle with the very best of them. Viva La Raza, of course. So looking good right there. And it kind of looks a little bit more WCW Eddie to me. Maybe that's just me there. But it reminds me more Eddie Guerrero from WCW. Now, Eddie is going to be the same size, basically, as Bobby. Oh, it's pretty close. He actually might be a hair taller than Bobby. And, of course, you read the back there. Bobby should be taller, I guess. So, scaling, it's all over the place, as we do know. But, man, this Eddie does look good. There's no mistaking this for Eddie Guerrero. I guess you could say maybe it's Dominic Mysterio with that mustache and long hair. But, man, looking good. Love the sly kind of look on Eddie's face a little bit there. And, of course, the facial hair looking good. White wrist tape and two fists of Eddie Guerrero Fury right here. He's ready to take on all comers there with those fists. Looking very, very nice. Then you got those classic Eddie tights on down here. Looking very cool in the gold, black, and red attack. Looking very nice here. A good, respectable Eddie Guerrero figure as far as retro figures do go. Really like this one. That mullet, that's a mullet you can set your watch to. There's no doubt about it. Now his arms, of course, go all the way around. Head back and forth a little bit, limited by the hair. Waist articulation. And once again, nothing on the feet, no stands, no nothing with Eddie Guerrero here. So, is what it is, but a fabulous, fabulous retro figure, this Eddie. And I like this Bobby Heenan, too. Two performers, very, very popular, fit the retro mold. We haven't had Eddie before, but Bobby, I think, speaks more to the retro just because he came up in that era and we never got a figure until now. Very exciting times here to get this Bobby Heenan, especially, once again, for me. So there it is, retro Bobby Heenan, the brain, of course, and Eddie Guerrero, Epic Toys. What's your guys' thoughts? Pickups, passes, long games, no games, not so sure games? I know the price point on these, around $50, turns a lot of people off. And now here we are, about $80-some. I think they're going for on eBay. They do sell out fairly quick, so it's kind of one of those things. get them, or you have to pay the eBay prices down the road. But it is tough to spend, $40 to $50 for these figures. I totally understand that, of course. But man, oh man, pretty fun to have all these years later. There's no doubt about it. But once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Check out my other YouTube channel while you're at it. Subscribe over there. Don't forget Patreon for early access to all the videos here on this YouTube channel. Appreciate all the support every single day over there on Patreon. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget my book, The Complete Guide to the WWE Jakks Classic Superstars series. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and on Kindle. And you can see some Jakks figures of these guys. Even Eddie in this exact costume, part of the Jakks Days with Rey Mysterio. Check out the book if you did miss that. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. And don't forget, newly on TikTok. So for Bobby the Brain Heenan, Eddie Guerrero, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.